would go in there and pay $10 per court per hour to have that court, then that way my fee would be paid for the day. So in other words, if I choose to have, and it'll cost me a lot of money to do this, but there's so many coaches, so many. The years I've been there, people tell the people at the desk, well, I don't have to pay because I'm doing something with Matt, or I'm doing this with Matt, or I've got a deal with Matt, or I've got this and that. But I think the city, and Matt should have the right to collect the money that day that they're utilizing that court. So if I need to have 3 courts for an hour and a half, that would be $15 per court because it would be $10. I'm just, because we don't have that listed here.
So you're talking about an instruction.
Instruction.
And that's something we have talked about, and I think
but if you pay that day, I'm just saying, if you pay that day, then you've already paid for that court, and the city's aware of who has paid because they paid. So if it's just a $10 fee, because normal lessons are about $40 an hour. So Matt likes to charge 25%, but some people will charge more, some people will charge less, and then it all becomes a very difficult situation. How many courts people can have or can't have, but it'd be nice to have the court paid for that day. So right now I pay actually $400 a month for a grassroots program that I do. So by me paying for those courts each day, I will now, if I keep the same program and all the hours I've used, I will now pay $1,200 for the courts, but that's really what I should be paying because we're using those courts in that fashion. It's not anybody's fault that I charge a low amount, but it's a court fee. And this way, if Steve Turner comes by and he looks at all the courts and he says, wow, all the pros paid all these days and they were paid for the day that they were used. I think that's pretty simple. Because you're getting paid that day, you're getting paid for that, for what you're doing. So that money could go right, instead of not having to figure out who's paying and who's not paying, it goes right to the person at the desk.
It's the same thing with the leagues. The leagues should pay up front.
pay up every
You
other
know,
place.
you know what nights you need the courts, pay for it up front, because
Yeah.
you're collecting from your people.
Right, so that way, everything's
And that may be
simplified
an
at the desk.
operational
Yes.
issue, that's
Yeah,
operational.